Today I messed up by making almost my entire school think I'm special needs. The beginning of this story takes place last year. I, 15M, was learning to identify different pine, spruce, and fir trees where I live, so I knew what was edible, since I love foraging. The morning this story takes place, I forgot to take my homemade wake-up pills, which if I don't take I get drowsy and fall asleep in class, plus I didn't sleep the night before. While I was reading a website at school, it said the female cones of the pitch pine tree were edible. Because of how tired I was, I didn't read that only the young cones are meant to be eaten, so I went outside, grabbed the biggest cone on the tree, and began trying to munch on it. In all of this, my peanut-sized brain decided I would go inside the school while munching on a pine cone. I didn't clue in that the quiet kid walking down the hallway dressed like a homeless guy with his hoodie up and biting a pine cone could look weird. After about 5 minutes of trying to chew on it, I threw it out and went back on the website, where I found the cones are only edible when young, and when they get hard they are still edible, but shouldn't be eaten. I felt embarrassed by how idiotic I had been, but shrugged it off and went to class. The next day when I walked into my first period class, the girl I had a crush on gestured for me to sit next to her. I thought I was dreaming and went to sit next to her. Normally she was loud and confident when she talked, but this time she seemed cautious and sensitive when she spoke. For about a year people kept doing this. They were sensitive, cautious, and would talk to me for a few minutes and then make some excuse to leave, usually a fake phone call, and I just shrugged it off until today I got talking with a girl I knew from elementary school, and we went to different high schools. While talking with her, she brought up the pinecone incident. I didn't think she would know about it since it had been over a year since it happened. I explained what I did wrong, and I thought it would be fine, until she told me that there was a rumor going around town that I was disabled. So now it all makes sense. Everyone was being sensitive and cautious when they spoke to me, and my crush inviting me to sit next to her. It was all because they thought I had a disability. So now, my entire school in possible town thinks I'm disabled, which is made even worse because I'm also the weird spider and snake kid. I brought a harvestman to my science class, and caught a garter snake in the soccer field. Today I messed up by calling my so she's loose. Me 26M and my so 26F have been together for about 6 months, and we do this thing where when someone says something like "oh that's broken," we immediately respond with "you're broken," etc. So we're lying in bed and she asked me to go get a plaster from the kitchen drawer. I brought her through the empty pouch where the plasters used to be, to which she tells me that they are loose in the drawer. I immediately reply with "you're loose." She said a kid before. I realized my mistake mid-stride towards the kitchen to retrieve the aforementioned plasters and come running back to my so looking at me with murder in her eyes. I laughed but apologized so hard for not realizing what I implied. She forgave me thankfully. She's seen the funny side to it, but dude. Today I messed up, accidentally wore white to a wedding. Well, not technically white. A year ago, I attended a black tie wedding as a guest. It was my first black tie event. At the time, I owned one floor-length dress, a beautiful, tiered blush pink dress that I ended up wearing. The night of, I had the best time. Today, I got some photos, and noticed something I never noticed before. The wedding was indoors, and had color-changing LED lighting. Pink, green, etc. Under those lights, looking back at the pictures, I realized my dress looked white, and the tiering made it look like a wedding dress. I feel horrified. What makes it worse is that I was A+1. Thankfully, it was cold there, and I had on a black blazer for most of the event. Should I say something? Apologize? People, learn from my mistake. No light-colored dresses, ever. Today I messed up when I found a 3-carat diamond on the street, and just gave it to the nearest NYPD officer. I found a 3-carat diamond on 5th Avenue today, and just gave it to the nearest NYPD officer. I was walking in NYC near the Diamond District and saw an envelope fall out of someone's pocket. I went to pick it up and return it, but the original owner had slipped away. The envelope was small, about half the size of an index card, but thick, and had a jeweler's name on it, so I opened it and there was a handwritten receipt for a 2.7-carat diamond. There were a few other papers folded up inside. Sure enough, one of them felt a bit lumpy, and I opened it to reveal a stunning loose diamond. Instead of being elated by my find, I instead panicked. I wanted this thing out of my possession as soon as possible. I wanted nothing to do with the consequences, of which there could have been many: organized crime, getting arrested. My mind was racing all over the place. The envelope had a phone number of a local diamond business on it. I probably should have called it, but then realized I had no way of knowing if they had owned it, or maybe had sold it and it was dropped by a customer. I found 2 policemen on 47th Street and handed it over to them. They asked a few questions about how it came into my possession, recorded on body cam, supposedly, and I went on my way. I now feel like a schmuck for giving it to the cops on the street. They are probably keeping it for themselves. One of them said it was worth $40,000. I could not keep it in good conscience, but at least I should have either called a lawyer, called the number on the envelope, or walked to the precinct to submit a finder's claim in case the owner was never found. Today I messed up by enjoying a chiropractic adjustment a bit too much. A little bit of context, I work standing for 12-hour double shifts 2 to 3 times per week and there's a lot of lifting involved in my job, so let's just say the visit to the chiropractor for this old lady was vastly overdue. Anyways, I get signed in and the chiropractor is super nice and wants me to be comfortable. There's a little bit of small talk and I tell him about my back/shoulder pain. The adjustment starts. He's doing the classics that I've had before where my neck damn near breaks and cracking up the top of my spine. But the problem arose when he had me tilt my legs over and cracked my lower back. I would say my biggest mistake was probably the iced caramel macchiato on my way to the appointment. Additionally, the shorts I was wearing were very loose and comfortable. Cut to the big low back adjustment and no way around it. I shit myself. Not only that, I immediately looked down to see a trail of oozing bowel movement running down the side of my thighs as the shorts I was wearing couldn't contain the tension release. I make eye contact with my friendly young chiropractor and see a look of horror on his face. I stand up and make a break for the bathroom. I didn't even look back to see if I was leaving a snail trail. Regardless, I don't think I will be coming back to this place.